In the annals of human culture, there are certain images so pervasive, so universally understood, that they transcend simple facts and become something more. They become myths. They become our collective reality. And few images are as timeless and as deeply ingrained in our minds as the sight of a small, furry creature with a twitching nose and oversized ears, scurrying away into a dark corner, a precious, golden wedge of Swiss cheese clutched firmly in its tiny paws. This is a scene that has played out on countless television screens, in the pages of countless books, and in the quiet corners of our imaginations for generations. It is a foundational truth of our childhoods. We are told that mice love cheese. It is the bait of choice for the cartoon trap. It is the prize sought by every cartoon mouse from Jerry to Feeble. It is, in our minds, an irrefutable fact of the natural world. But what if this simple truth is a magnificent deception? What if this cherished image, this universal knowledge, is nothing more than a carefully crafted lie? What if the most famous pairing in the animal kingdom is not a matter of taste, but a fabrication of our own minds? The question echoes in the void, a challenge to our very perception. Does the mouse truly love cheese? To answer it, we must journey back in time, into the shadowy corridors of history and the brilliant light of scientific discovery, to unravel a delicious deception that has been centuries in the making. The origins of this myth are not found in the biology of the mouse, but in the domestic habits of our own species. In the Dark Ages, and throughout much of human history, food storage was a precarious affair. Grains, vegetables, and meats were often kept in hanging sacks, cellars, or covered barrels. But cheese, particularly hard cheese, was different. It was often stored out in the open, on shelves, or in a pantry, where it could age and breathe. Its robust nature and strong aroma made it seem less vulnerable to pests. It was a fortress built of dairy, or so the humans thought. But to a small, desperate, and hungry rodent, it was a new, interesting object in an otherwise familiar landscape. A mouse, seeking shelter and sustenance in the cold of a medieval cottage, would naturally be drawn to the most accessible food source it could find. It was not a preference for cheese, but a simple matter of opportunity. The bread was in the bread box. The grains were in the grain sacks. But the cheese sat out in the open, a lonely, tempting target. And so, the association was born. The mouse, a symbol of domestic pests, was seen repeatedly near the cheese. This observation, simple and direct, became an accepted truth. It was a story told and retold, from one generation to the next, until it became a part of our folklore. The myth was cemented not by science, but by convenience and a lack of better options. But the story does not end there. In the early 20th century, a new force emerged to solidify this myth for all time: media and entertainment. The iconic image of the mouse and cheese became a staple of early animation. The exaggerated, anthropomorphic mice of cartoons like Tom and Jerry elevated the myth to an art form. The cartoon mouse did not just eat cheese, it craved it. It would risk life and limb for a single, perfect piece. This artistic choice, this simple, visual shorthand for a rodent's greatest desire, was so effective and so universally appealing that it embedded itself into our collective consciousness, overriding any real-world observation. The myth became more powerful than the reality. But what is the truth? What does the science say about the tastes of a mouse? It turns out that a mouse's palate is far from discerning, but it has distinct preferences. And, contrary to popular belief, cheese is very low on their list of favorites. Mice are omnivores, meaning they can eat a wide variety of foods. Their natural diet consists of grains, seeds, fruits, and insects. In a human environment, they are opportunistic feeders. They will eat anything they can find, but they are particularly drawn to foods that are high in sugar and fat. Things like peanut butter, chocolate, and sugary candies are far more appealing to a mouse than a savory, pungent block of cheese. Why? The answer lies in their biology. A mouse's sense of smell is incredibly acute. It is their primary tool for finding food. While we humans might find the smell of aged cheddar to be a delicious, complex aroma, a mouse's ultra-sensitive nose perceives it as an overwhelming, sometimes even offensive, stench. Many hard cheeses contain high levels of mold, which to a mouse is a signal of spoilage and a potential danger. They would rather go for something with a simpler, sweeter, or less pungent scent. This is why, in the world of professional pest control, cheese is rarely, if ever, used as bait. The preferred bait is almost always peanut butter. It has a powerful, sweet, and fatty aroma that a mouse can't resist. It is a siren's call to their sensitive noses, a beacon of high-calorie goodness that promises a quick, easy meal. The contrast is stark. The pungent, often moldy smell of cheese versus the sweet, fatty smell of peanut butter. The mouse will almost always choose the latter. This simple fact reveals a deeper truth about our own understanding of the world. We have created a reality based not on observation, but on storytelling. The myth of the mouse and the cheese is a testament to the power of narrative. It is a reminder that a well-told story, especially one repeated endlessly in our most formative years, can become more real to us than the cold, hard facts of nature. And this begs a larger question. How many other truths do we hold to be self-evident, simply because they have been repeated to us? How many of our beliefs about history, about society, about each other, are based not on a careful examination of the evidence, but on a convenient, visually appealing myth? The myth of the mouse and the cheese is a gentle reminder of our own cognitive biases. We are predisposed to believe what is simple, what is easy to understand, and what is presented to us in a compelling way. The image of the mouse and the cheese is a perfect example of this. It is a simple, direct, and emotionally resonant story. It requires no deep thought, no scientific inquiry. It just is. But the truth, as is often the case, is far more interesting and complex. The truth is that mice are not cartoon characters. They are survivors. They are masters of their environment, driven by an acute sense of smell and a primal need for survival. They do not seek out the most famous or romanticized food. They seek out the most efficient, the most nourishing, the most life-sustaining food. Their choices are a reflection of a brutal, unforgiving world, not a sentimental, fairy tale one. So, the next time you see a cartoon mouse with a piece of cheese, do not simply accept the image at face value. Do not let the myth blind you to the reality. Instead, let it serve as a prompt. A moment to pause and ask yourself a deeper question. What other truths have I accepted without a second thought? The story of the mouse and the cheese is not just a tale about a rodent's diet. It is a tale about our own minds. It is a testament to the power of a single, repeated image to shape our entire understanding of the world. The real truth is not about the cheese at all. It is about the eternal dance between what we are told, what we believe, and what is actually real. And it is a reminder that the most delicious truths are often the ones that require us to look beyond the surface, to question the most basic of assumptions, and to find the surprising, sometimes unsettling, but always fascinating reality that lies beneath.